Three, two, one. We are recording. Hello, and welcome to second. I believe this is the second. I think this is how it will come out. The second episode of the podcast. How am I sounding, Trenton? Do I sound good? Sound crisp?
Sounds pretty good.
You sound pretty
Sounds pretty
crisp.
crisp.
You sound pretty nice and sexy with your vocals there.
Yeah, I've got the sock on the Blue Yeti microphone, pop filter.
Yeah, that's a good looking good looking setup you got there. Okay, I have actually a set of questions I did ask Zach, but since you're acting as like a co-host, kind of like how Zach is, I will need to introduce you to the 20
Yes, of course.
people on average who watches this, and most of them are me watching it over and over again, looking for in impurities. But okay, uh, introduce. Just say your name and what you do on the internet.
Well, I'm Trenton, and I like to be on Discord on the internet. It's pretty fun, and I also like to watch YouTube videos. And I used to have a YouTube channel, but it's just didn't it wasn't fun anymore, so I decided to stop. So that's why I haven't been. If anyone recognizes me, I doubt they would.
Maybe I'm sure the viewers might do this, given it's only
Viewers
people we know so far.
maybe like
Uh,
I'll give them a good, hey guys, Maywood over here.
oh, that's nostalgic. That's good. That made a little bit of my bones quake, if I do say so. Um, so if I am correct in assuming, I'm acting like I'm just meeting you, but I know this already. You dabble in the music too, but not in the same
Yeah.
way as Zach, but in a different way. Would you want to elaborate on your interests in music?
Well, I'm still kind of interested in electronically making music, and so I've been trying to find something to do that, but software is expensive. But I mostly do more classical. I'm like learning piano still. I've been working on that. I took piano lessons last semester, and they really helped out. So yeah, like I'm all about people learning how to read sheet music, um, stuff like that.
Dope. So we actually have in our Discord we have it tends to follow a couple topics, couple similar topics, and one is the unwillingness of Zach to learn any form of sheet music.
Actually,
Has he
he's taking
started?
a yeah, he's taking a class right now. He's taking fundamentals of music, and yeah, I'm moving this mic just a little bit. Um, so he's taking a class to actually learn how to read sheet music and stuff, and so hopefully he'll get into
Maybe he'll get the
writing
bug.
down because I'll be more than happy to play some stuff for his beats on piano and record it, but it's kind of just it's hard to look at like a piano roll and then figure out how to play it because it'd be easier to play it by ear. That's kind of what you got to do.
Yeah,
But if you could write it down in sheet music, that'd be
I've noticed frequently him saying, "Hey, Trenton, play me something on piano for my beat," and you're just like, "I don't know what to play. You gotta be specific," because
yeah.
essentially
I'm
you
like
have the most decisions ever. You could do this note and this note and this note and this note, like, and he's just like, "Yeah, just make something. Like it's simple like that.
it's like I'm not a jazz pianist. I mean, like
You
I
can't
can't
just
just
improv."
well, I can improv, but it's not like it's not that good. I'm not that good at improvising.
Yeah,
Trying to get better.
I do remember when you released the duet song. I actually thought that was really good. The clarinet and recorder, if I'm not mistaken. Was it?
Yeah, I think I kind of did it Baroque style, so like, it sounds old-timey. Um
It's
sounds
good.
medieval.
It sounds very medieval.
I need to actually release the full version because I only have like a 1 minute version,
Mm.
but I brought it out and I revised it like two times to make it even better. So
Yeah,
I should put that out.
it's it's a different animal looking at how you made that and looking at it, because what Zach will do is he'll lay out, he'll like make a beat, then he'll add like, I don't know anything about music, but like the parts that aren't the beat, he'll add those like later on. He'll build like little pieces, and what you're doing is you're like, it's more complicated with like the placing of the notes on the line and stuff, and you have to
Yeah.
like it's just a different animal. So it's clearly a different set of skills. Like I doubt like what's his name 6ix9ine can read sheet music. And I think he made his own beats, or made at one point his own beats.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of like, sheet music. It's probably a little bit better for melodies than beats because you can write drum sheet music. It's like a little bit different than notes, but it's just not. I don't know. It's definitely the software out there is not as good as like rap making software. I think the best stuff out there is called Sibelius, and it's pretty expensive, and it's still hard to use. So but don't worry, MuseScore. It's another software out there. It's completely free, and they're updating it, making it better. So it's pretty good to learn on.
so what got you into the sheet music, like the different like into things like sheet music, music theory, all that stuff, instead of just like making beats, like Zach just got into beat making, but you transitioned into more traditional stuff. What caused that?
So I think um, I can't remember. I think it was at the end of yeah, it was at the end of high school. We got the piano back here in the home over to the it's over to my left right here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like I didn't have it for because we moved, so I didn't have it for a while. There was just like nothing over there. And so I decided to start learning it, and I played something by ear, and I think I I wanted to learn how to write down whatever I had played by ear and kind of composed. And so I went ahead and learned how to use MuseScore, and I put it in.
Wow.
So that got me into it, and then playing some of the songs my mom used to play
uh
on piano.
so you've played a few things for us. You've dabbled in, I wouldn't say like you're 100% proficient in really, and I don't know, I haven't seen your extent in piano, but I've seen like you can play a little bit of the banjo, a little bit of the guitar,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit of the piano. I'm sure you even play that, what's it called, the melodica, that thing.
The melodica, yeah, yeah.
You can play a little bit of a lot of things. So is there one you're going to try to focus on? Are you going to stick to the piano, stick to the banjo, stick to the guitar?
Yeah, I've mostly been focusing on piano because I decided like I think at one point I decided, well, I've got to focus on something, and there's piano lessons on campus, so I
Oh yeah,
decided to go ahead and do that. I mean, there are classical guitar lessons, but guitar is kind of harder to read sheet music for. I think it's
probably.
easier to noodle around and have fun
Because
than
for a piano, it's a key is a note. And then, but
yeah,
for a guitar, you have to do a combination of like finger movements and
yeah,
how
and
you
you can
hit and
just
hold things. It's a little more complicated. No, like each note is complicated to know in comparison.
yeah.
This lighting is really bad for my face. But yeah, it's. I think the piano is a very universal instrument. Like a lot of things can be boiled down into a piano. Like
Yeah, it's kind of another reason I decided to choose it because it's going to be like, I could probably move over to a keyboard or something like that.
yeah, I'm impressed that you're learning an instrument. I've felt a desire to do that, but I have the integrity of a 6 year old. I can't do something like that. Like as soon as like everyone like is like, oh, like I would get the gratification of someone saying, "Oh, you're learning. That's so cool." And then like a month in, I'd quit. Like it's just too much work. I can't. I'm I focus on one thing, and both hands doing two different things can't do that. I can't. My brain doesn't work that way. I can't do that. It's beyond
I
my
mean,
comprehension. Driving was a hard thing for me to learn. Holy crap!
oh yeah, you
Because
think
I
you'd
had to
ever
use my.
drive a manual?
I couldn't. I literally couldn't do it. Even if I knew how to do it and I could ace every test on how to do it, I couldn't do it. because I can't
Nice.
manage arms and feet at the same time. I can't do two things. I'm one track. I could do that one thing well, but I can't multitask. Like I can't focus on two different hands like a piano. I couldn't do that stuff. But it's impressive to see how far you've gotten in the short time you've started. I believe. I believe it was
Well,
short. I don't know when you started. I think you started like 2, 3 years ago.
I started. It was okay. So after high school, I went to like I went to Japan on a trip. I think that was in June. And so actually when I got back, they had moved the piano in the house, and that was a nice surprise coming back. So it was about um it was at probably after the month of June. Um or maybe even further than that in 2018. So, yeah, that's on the sort of on the topic of like doing different things with both your hands. That's something that I kind of noticed is um, stuff that's like you're doing one specific rhythm with the left hand, like doing a chord that goes from bottom to top and kind of arpeggiating the chord like one note at a time, like da 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 da. Doing that in a specific rhythm makes it just so much easier to play anything else on the right hand, because then once you get the left hand down in that rhythm, you don't have to think about it. It just kind of works out that way. So that's something really
It's
interesting I noticed.
I feel like it's probably like a bicycle. Once you learn, it may be hard to learn, but once you get it, it's kind of you snap into
Yeah,
the
and then
place of
like
understanding the two hands doing different things thing. But
yeah,
I'm trying to remember. I you reminded me of a what am I thinking of? Oh yeah. So do you want to maybe jump back in time a bit to when we released you released, but I kind of I felt like I wanted to be involved because this was a fun project. Just Think, the album.
oh yeah,
That is a memory train for us because you had most of the songs made, and I was like, dude, you got to make an album. And you're like,
yeah. I
okay.
remember. I remember. What was it? I uploaded it to my YouTube channel. I think no one's ever gonna probably care about this little tiny
I'll
story.
link your YouTube channel in
But
this. I don't care
okay,
if it's dead. I'll link it.
yeah, it's I haven't uploaded in a year, but you can feel free to watch stuff. But I uploaded Just Think to my YouTube channel, and so what happened was it has a sample in it that's like just from a library of Apple samples, and apparently some other like weird creator just used that sample in their work, and they got it copyrighted. And so I got a copyright claim on my video. And honestly, mine, I can't even remember what it was, but my version was just probably 100 times better than whatever they did. And so that really made me mad. So I deleted the video because I didn't want, any copyright claims.
Uh, so I will also link the album on from SoundCloud on here.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can link my SoundCloud so people can hear recorder
I'll link
clarinet
your
do it.
I'll link your Twitter, your SoundCloud, and your YouTube. So the on SoundCloud, I would like to bring up a couple tracks from that. If I remember correctly, it is Fire is Plasma, and I like the Fire is Plasma and Vape Vapor Roll and Hadawave. They're really short, I believe, or they're long but drawn. I don't
Yeah, they're
remember.
probably the worst tracks.
They are stinkers to say the least. They are not the best thing in the world, but I the they hold a special place. They actually in one of my playlists on SoundCloud. I have a playlist called Fun Playlist, and it has a bunch of memes on there, and that those two are both on there. So I have listened to them probably within the year. Just like going through memory lane when we thought this was the coolest thing in the universe. I was like, dude, Trent, you can make some crazy stuff, dude, crazy. I could never do this. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, but you've improved quite a bit since Just Think with your like
Yeah.
skills in creating and just comprehension of music theory itself. would you want to talk about like how you feel you've improved, like what areas you've improved on, that if you were to make a similar type of album today, what do you think would improve the most?
Um, I think just like, better software really, because I was using GarageBand, I think back then, and it wasn't too good. Um, and I think just think there's a actually some piano improv in that I did, but you'll notice that it isn't like quantized. It isn't on time, which I should have set it to quantizing, and it would have been like just straight correct on time, but I didn't do it, and so you'll just probably notice like those weird off beats, and that's not very good. I could improve that. Um, Fires plasma, maybe make an actual beat for that. That'd be
Isn't that the one with the pencil
pretty fun.
tapping and then it says your mom gay?
Yeah, I did pencil tapping. Do you remember the voice actor for that?
Logan. No
Yes,
last names,
yes.
but Logan.
Logan.
Yeah. Uh,
Yes.
that those were definitely, they brought back memories of high school. Uh, Jumping back even further in time, so we jump back to high school. What about pre-high school? When you started your dead YouTube channel, I don't think I've ever got the explanation. What does Maywo Duffer mean, and where did it come from?
Hey, so I think I was playing Minecraft Pocket Edition one day, trying to figure out a username, and so I kind of just started saying a bunch of random stuff like while playing with my friends. I was just like Minecraft Pocket Edition on my phone playing, and I'm like thinking about random words, and I thought about the word marshmallow, but I said like marshmallow, Maywo, and then I came up with that Maywo, and then Duffer. I just added on. I can't remember why I added that on, but that's kind of
the
how it
best
came about.
the best names always have the dumbest origins.
And
Uh,
so I changed my name. I changed my username back to that in Minecraft Pocket Edition back when it was like still the free version, probably.
yeah, light.
If anyone remembers that, you get a senior discount. Minecraft Pocket Edition
when it
Lite.
was
That was
when it was
that was my
only
childhood right there.
when it was only creative mode and you could only place like those limited blocks. Was it that early?
It was yeah, early to the point there was only a creative mode option with no flying, and there was a survival mode option with like no animals but zombies, I think, and then just
Bare bones.
unlimited blocks in survival mode.
I remember
So
the ads for that game, like people playing Minecraft in the stalls. Like, do you remember the weird ads they had on TV for that? Like people
I
would be
didn't see.
playing, you'd hear like zombie noises, and they're in a bathroom stall. It was really weird. It was super weird ad campaign. It didn't last very long because you don't really need
I
to advertise Minecraft.
I didn't see any advertisements for that.
They
I
were on
just
like
mostly
TV.
like I just mostly kind of looked up on YouTube and figured out like who was, developing it, and I followed the person on Twitter.
Mm. Uh,
So I was at least old enough for a Twitter account, probably.
well, and you could be any age. You probably said you were like 80. uh, so I've actually going to use this to segue into my own name origin because I've actually been asked multiple times what the heck Wackofan means, and it doesn't mean anything. And I'm going to explain it now so I don't get asked anymore. Um, it means literally nothing. So the story is, I really wanted a PlayStation 3. Like for the longest time, I really wanted one. And so I saved up money. I don't even know how I got money at that time. It was before I could get jobs. It was when I was like 12, so I don't know. And so I was just, I think it was like through it wasn't like an allowance. It was like birthday money over time, and maybe like I would be like, Dad, I'll mow the lawn for money, or something, or I'll clean my room if you give me $1, even though it's not even that dirty because I did that last week, something like that. And I saved up to like halfway point to the PlayStation because it was before the big price drop. I think it was right when I started saving. It was right after price dropped when I was able to get it. But what happened was, sorry, Zach aggravated me. Uh, It was Christmas, and I didn't expect to get it because I was the one saving up money for it. But my parents got me it on Christmas, and I had to give them money. I had to give them money on Christmas because they paid for half. I paid for the other half. Because it was like 300 at the time, and I had 150. They about 150. They paid the rest, so I had to pay my parents on Christmas. But I wanted to play, and I also got Modern Warfare 3. And I was like a COD kid. I thought they were the coolest thing in the world was playing Call of Duty. I watched Ollie A back in the day before it was Fortnite. And I was like, Mom, make me a PlayStation Network account because I didn't know what the heck to do. I didn't have an email account to do all that stuff. So she starts making me an account, and I come back and she's like, okay, I didn't know what name to give you, so I wrote Wackofan. I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean, Mom? And she said it was just some random word she came up, and I was like, well, I'll change it later. I'll change it. It's dumb. I don't need it. And I forgot to change it, and literally years passed before I was like a year or two passed, and I'm like, I never changed my name, and I couldn't figure out how to do it on PlayStation because I was too dumb. I'm sure it's simple, and it stuck. I started using it for things, like any online account I had to made. I started using it. I know it sounds dumb. It's a cringy, dumb
Hey, I
name,
mean,
but it grew on me. It grew on me. So I use it for my Twitter. It's used for this apparent or obviously. So it's stuck. But yeah, that's the origin. Not you quiet?
what?
Okay. It was roboting. Sweet.
Okay, yeah. I don't know what happened there. Huh.
Technical difficulties solved. It will all be cut out in post. Don't worry. We won't leave that 3 minute long problem. Anyway, what were you? Oh, I finished my story while you were gone, so I'll cut after that. Don't worry. It wasn't eventful. I don't know when you stopped hearing me.
So yeah, but hey, Wacko fan, I was gonna say it's a little bit cooler than Mewda, or maybe.
It's cooler the more you say it. When you first like hear it for the first time, it sounds like something a 5-year-old would came up with. But if you say it enough, it really grows on you.
Hey guys, Wacko fan here.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't intro like that. You crazy? I'd be like,
You
"What's up, guys? It's your boy." I'll jump in like Ali A. I'll go,
what
"Hey,
up,
what's up,
gamers?
guys? Fortnite gamer here. I'm peaking my audio."
I
Something
think
like that.
could I peek the audio? No, I'm not
No,
gonna do
don't
that.
peek it. I didn't know I thought I was only barely touching it. It's fine. It's fine. So, that kind of threw me for a loop, that technical difficulty, but let me
Yeah.
get back on track. Now I'm going to jump back from the past to the present. So, your most recent endeavor, if I am not incorrect in assuming, is alcohol. This sounds like you're an alcoholic, but you're not. Would you like to
Oh
clarify?
yes. Well, frankly, it's kind of been absolutely awful to drink. I'll just put that out right. But it's fun to
It's
make.
a process. You got to learn.
So so what I'll do, I I've occasionally a few times made mead, which is it's kind of like wine, but instead of grape juice, you use just honey and water. And then so I made like a few batches of that, and
First, 1 second.
it
Can I
yeah
clarify something? Legal reasons. He is not distilling anything. He is not breaking the
yeah.
rules. This is only fermentation. He is
I
he's not doing anything illegal.
Now
Okay.
I wish I could, but
You got to get a license for that.
yeah, I think I'm pretty sure you have to start like an entire company for it because I don't think you can just do it as one person. I think you have to have a company and then you have to
Probably.
get that company licensed. Which hey, maybe I'll become some kind of what's the word for it? Apprentice at a whiskey factory, something like that. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be
That would
cool.
be.
That's
I
the
mean, hey,
dream, honestly.
I might not like it, but it'd be pretty fun.
Hey,
But anyway,
that'd be a fun job, I think, learning how all that stuff works. So, can you tell me about your cuz before you were just kind of throwing things in bottles letting it sit for a bit, but you've
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
advanced. What are you doing different this time that made it actually clear this time? It was not clear before. What makes it clear now? Like, what have you changed?
So what I did, well, so I wouldn't do this again. It was relatively clear. Um, like, just this beautiful kind of orangish yellow color. And so what I did, I wanted to put ginger juice and lemon juice in it and make kind of a lemon ginger mead, but I just, I just totally didn't think about this at all. I threw the ginger and the lemon in a food processor and I ground it up to a paste. And then I was like, how am I going to get the juice out of this? So I put the paste in a coffee filter and I just like squeezed it, and whatever came out, it was this, imagine, okay, imagine this yellow.
Yeah.
It was this exact color of yellow probably in like a liquid form, kind of looked like yellow paint.
Ugh.
So I put that in and it made it foggy. But I was able to make it clear because
Yeah,
this
it
is
looks
what I
really
did.
good. It looks like beer.
This this is entirely, um, I'm entirely allowed to do this. I'm gonna disclaimer say that. Um, so what you do is you can put something that has some level of alcohol in it. You can take it, put it in something like a plastic bottle, um, and it's important that it's plastic instead of glass. Take that, put it into the freezer, and then what you do is you freeze the water, but then you pour out the alcohol that doesn't freeze, and you let it drip out of the ice until the ice is like white, and then you do that again a few times. And so what I noticed is that there's sediment on the bottom of the bottle, and so when you flip over the bottle for the ice, you'd have the sediment get caught in the ice, and that's what made it so
Ah,
clear.
yeah. So if I'm trying
Well,
to,
and then when I let it settle, it kind of had all this like weird floaty stuff in it, and then I just was able to filter that out with a coffee
Mhm.
filter. So that worked out. I would go get it, but it's like all the way upstairs, and so
Yeah, you don't have to do that.
yeah,
So I was, so you think that the sourness came from the lemon, right? It wasn't like some
yeah.
gross mutation or whatever. It was the lemon you added too much.
It's very very strong lemon juice flavored because I added a whole lemon, and when you're going from like a gallon jar down to I think it's 8 ounces.
Dang, you've
So I went from
refined it
a
quite a bit.
I went from a gallon down to eight
It's
ounces
really
of
concentrated.
this concentrated stuff. Yeah, it's so I was hoping that the citric acid from the lemon wouldn't concentrate too much into it, but it did, and it is
So
extremely
is it a
sour.
different type of sour from the last ones? The last ones had like a gross
Um,
sour. Is this just like a sour sour, like you're eating a
yeah,
lemon?
it's not like vinegar sour. It's like lemon sour.
And to clarify,
Because
the previous ones, he did not ever like chug this crap. He would take little sips to taste it.
oh yeah, the previous ones were kind of bad.
Yeah, it
The
was.
only the only time I did good with the previous ones is um I think it was way back before I got a big gallon jug. I had just a vinegar bottle that was this tall, and I would ferment like, I think it'd give me 2 bottles. I'd ferment some mead, and then I'd put it into kombucha bottles,
Mhm.
which you can pressurize, and I'd let it carbonate, and that was pretty good. I liked that. So
So,
I might make another carbonated thing sometime. But
so, what do you think the estimate of the alcohol content it has? What do you think after your most recent batch, you've refined it down to its most pure state, like not pure, but like condensed state? What do you think its content is per like percentage?
so right now, I think if I were to if I were to put this liquid into the freezer, I think it wouldn't freeze like water, but it would kind of probably have a little bit of slush in it. And so kind of the point at which it's at. I think it's not like it's kind of like probably a point at which um, it won't freeze anymore. Basically, that's it. And I
Would
don't know
it
how.
burn?
I think I tried it out, and it isn't burning.
No invisible flame or anything like with hand sanitizer? Like it just.
Nah, but I think if I fermented water and sugar and just had like no impurities from the honey or lemon or anything, and then I let some drip out, I think it would burn if it was just like this pure
Just
stuff, but it's
I'm
mixed with
sure it
other
wouldn't
stuff.
taste very good if it was just sugar.
Just fermented
It would just
sugar.
taste like you're drinking rubbing alcohol. It'd be the nastiest
Yeah,
stuff in the world.
pretty much, pretty much.
Uh, so you don't think you're at the point yet where you can make a drink that someone could enjoy over like a nice a wood burning flame and a book.
Yeah, it's not too enjoyable yet. If you put a little bit of it in Coca-Cola, it isn't that noticeable, but it's not that good yet. You know, I don't think I'll do anything too strong if I freeze concentrate it again. No. What I'm working on now is I have 2 gallons of apple juice, and I've actually put brown sugar in it to increase the amount of sugar, and then I'm fermenting that with like professional grade yeast.
Oh yeah.
So once that's done, which it's been like 2 weeks, and it's still this entirely surprised me because I've got it in the bottles, and you can just like hear it fizzing, like actually hear it, and you can see bubbles coming up like really fast, which
Some active
hasn't.
yeast.
Yeah, because I used bread yeast last time,
I'm sure it's
which
not like not
it
professional,
isn't the
but I'm sure
fastest.
it
Yeah,
works. Uh,
it works, but it isn't
That's
fast.
probably why you had so much cloudiness to it. I feel like there was just so much. You needed a lot more of the yeast to get it to do anything.
Yeah, and probably proper siphoning and waiting for everything to settle is probably important.
Hmm.
So I've got 2 gallons of that apple juice going now, and I'm gonna freeze concentrate that, and it's an actual drink called Applejack, and it's supposed to be pretty good.
You think
So
so?
yeah, I'm not gonna add any sugar to it before freeze concentrating it. I'm just gonna, because I don't want to screw that up and make it like unbearably sweet. So I'm just gonna leave it as is, and then probably I think I'll probably have a wine bottle full,
So do you
and
think
so
this will be drinkable, like an actual enjoyable beverage?
I think so. I think it's still gonna be one of those things that you sip probably because you don't want to, because if it's a higher
Well, I wouldn't
percent,
think
you
you'd
don't want to.
chug it, but
Yeah, yeah, because
will it not
the whole thing
taste
is
like something that could kill me?
I don't think it will, but you got to be, you don't want to be drinking like say if you got a cup of this size,
Yeah,
you drink that, you'd be probably done.
probably. I'm sure it'll be so concentrated that it would
Yeah, it'll
not
be
take a lot to make you feel a little funny, if you know what I mean.
it's supposed to get like 30 to 40%, I think, which
Really?
which now the problem is, I think I explained this before. You're not taking um it's not like distilling where you're taking like this pure ethanol cut out of the part of what evaporates.
Hmm.
It's more like everything that was in there, you're just taking water away and concentrating everything else. So
Yeah, you're not using like all those because the reason there's a license to it is because the machinery, the heating it up, it's just dangerous, could blow up and kill you. But this process, you just put it in the fridge or the freezer. So
yeah, and there okay, so there are professional companies that make Applejack like with the same principle, and if they can sell it, then it's safe to make it this way, but it will have like a little bit of methanol in there, a little bit of probably acetone, propanol, stuff like that that you would usually distill off. So that's why another reason why you don't want to drink a lot of it at a time.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I until you master the process. I think I'm good
And
from
and if I
partaking in
don't
that.
if I don't like it, then it's probably going to just sit in my cedar chest for years,
Dude, that's how you make it better. You age it.
or maybe I'll like I don't know, maybe I'll make a bottle of
You need
it
to
and
buy like a mini barrel. Like they sell mini barrels. You need to fill mini oak like whiskey barrels and put them in that. Or like do the thing where
well,
you put the chips of the barrels in your thing and let it just like
yeah,
age with that in it.
I thought about doing that. I thought about doing that,
That'd be fun.
but
It probably make it taste like really woody, woody. It
if I
tastes
make
how wood smells.
yeah, I think if I make a more like if I just ferment sugar by itself and then freeze concentrate it and then put it in with the oak, then that'll be close to whiskey. It won't be whiskey, but it'll be like close. But and then speaking of whiskey, uh,
Whiskey's
I've got
yeah.
I've got very sad news. Uh, I may have told you this last night.
Oh,
I
this yes.
I bought a very beautiful decanter.
Can you
Like about
explain what a decanter is?
it is. It's usually like a glass bottle that's for fancily serving alcohol. So you'd take whiskey out of your standard bottle, put some into the decanter, and then you'd say, "Hey, everyone, look how fancy I am! I have a decanter."
It's like those things in movies that rich people pour alcohol out of, but it's like
Yeah,
fancy
yeah.
glass. It's one of those.
And so I got it like it was probably it's a good size, and it's probably pretty old. I got it from the antique store, um, and so I was like moving stuff around on the counter, and it was on the counter, and so like I moved some stuff around, and then it got bumped, and it fell over, and like the rim of it, there's just like a chunk that's been taken out of the rim of it, and it's just like it upset me for like the whole night. Like I'll be legit about that because
Hmm.
it's just this such a beautiful piece of glass, such a beautiful piece of glassware,
Yeah, and it had
and then
no labels, so it wasn't like
no
corporate
labels.
feeling. It had like that vibe of like old was made.
And I mean, I think it's not cut crystal. I think it's like pressed in some kind of
Is there
mold
a
or
seam?
something. Uh, it's very hard to tell because of the vertical lines, but it's just I mean, it's just over in the kitchen. Should I bring it over for the podcast
If
viewers
you
to
want
see on
to, if you
video?
want to, feel free.
Yes.
If it's not long of a walk, let's see this thing. It's a nice piece of glassware.
So I've got it right here. This is the stopper. So notice how it's like, look at that.
Ooh, that's fancy.
Look
Can you
how
get a little
amazing that
closer
is.
without it? Yeah, that's a nice fancy little like glass pin. It's like a glass cork.
Now
That's what I'd
this,
call it.
yeah, and you notice it's got this like frosted glass finish. It okay, so it came when I got it at the antique store. It was like this already,
Yeah.
but it's still, I still bought it because it would still work. But this, look at this. It fell over
Dang.
and
Would it not
rest
still
in
work?
peace. I mean,
Would it still seal and everything? I guess
it
you don't need to
doesn't
seal
seal
it really.
because it's like glass. I mean, it has a significant amount of friction,
It looks
but
like you'd still be able to use it. It still looks pretty nice. You just got to chip out of the lid a little bit.
I can still use it. But I mean, like, look at that.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
Look at that. Just looking at it, even on my screen, it looks amazing.
Yeah, I
But
wonder. I
like,
wonder if it was a mold or a pressing or something.
yeah, and it's got no labels. It's just this weird nub on the bottom,
I see those in like wine bottles too.
and I think it is smooth. It is smooth on the inside, and I've been like looking up on Google Images trying to find it everywhere I can, but it's just I have not found like I found ones that are smaller and skinnier, I found ones that are shorter and fatter, but nothing that's quite exactly like this um, these blocks, and nothing that looks like I found a so okay, so Crew A, I think that's how it's pronounced. It's slightly similar to a decanter, but imagine like there was a spout coming off of this, and imagine there was a handle, and those are for vinegar, like salad dressing. I found a Crew A that was it's looks smaller than this, but it was,
How do
you
you know
know,
the difference? Like, what if that's a Cruet?
it doesn't have a spout,
Oh, the spout's what defines it.
and it doesn't have like a little handle that comes around.
Hmm.
But a Crew A also can have a glass stopper like this.
Hmm. Well, I
So
think it should still work, but it's a shame that it bit the dust
yeah,
like that.
it should still work, and I mean I'm gonna keep it.
You don't think you could
Um,
like super glue the piece on just for aesthetic's sake?
See, that was the problem because I took like the largest piece I could, and I tried to fit it up to the end. And what had happened was there's like a large piece that was broken out, but also slices that were underneath the large piece got broken out, and those were like very tiny little slices,
Yeah,
and so
that'll prevent it gluing.
it wouldn't fit up. And so I'll probably keep it. And
I'd
if
still use it.
okay,
I think it's good.
I'm still gonna search for one just like it because I've got it. I'm kind of fixated on it, and I don't want it to be unhealthily like fixated. But just for the principle of the matter, I want to find this exact one. And if I can't find this exact one online, I'm going to bring it to a glass blower, some type of glass maker, and ask if I can get a custom bottle made like this.
Could he not just fix it? I feel like they'd be able to like
Um,
repair it with melted glass. Like those
hey,
guys, they
maybe,
know what they're doing. It'd just be cheaper, a lot cheaper.
maybe if they could fix it,
Like, cause it's
even slightly, I
yeah,
think I'd go for that.
it's
It
probably just
might
a better
be
option that way.
might be harder to refit the stopper because you can see like the inside of this is frosted,
You could
and
always sand it down.
I think they're both of these pieces are sanded to fit perfectly.
You could
So
resand it. I'm sure it doesn't take fancy tools to sand down glass. I don't think. I don't know its hardness. So
it just probably takes something. Well, glass is like 5, so it probably takes something like 7 hardness
on the
to
what's
sand
it
it.
called? What's the hardness scale called? I don't know. Remember it.
Mohs
Is it
hardness scale?
Mohs?
No, it was not Mohs.
Moore's. No, it's Moore's law.
More?
I don't know. It starts with an M. I'm pretty sure.
There's like a yeah,
I
there's
had to
like a
learn it for
Rockwell,
Earth class, Earth
the
science
Rockwell
class.
hardness store.
Yeah,
Rockwell's for
that's what
steel.
I'm knowing. No, it's yeah, that's steel. But I know something hardness scale, and I had to learn that for Earth.
Everything now.
There we go. Back to normal, and we're gonna return now. Oh shit! Now. I had to make a visual cue for when I'm scrubbing through the video to find where we joined back up again. So,
I think I was talking about cruets or cruets.
the ranch dressing thing.
Yeah, yeah. You put like vinegar in one, and if you have another cruet that's matching, you put olive oil in the other, and you've got your salad dressing.
That's some fancy stuff right there. I've never actually seen that. I've only seen that stuff in movies. I don't know if they have that stuff in Olive Garden though. It's the closest place I think they'd have that.
But yeah, yeah, I think what was it? What was it saying? Oh yeah, it fits up like perfectly. So if I had it repaired, I'd have to have them refit it perfectly as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
a
mean,
shame really that that thing got knocked over because it's nice.
like I have another kind of like molded glass decanter, but it's a it's a bigger one, but it's not as nice. You can you can see the seams. It doesn't have as cool of a pattern, and then the stopper isn't like solid glass. Like this solid glass, I like that.
It's got a lot of weight to it. It
It
looks like
is, yeah, it's
heavy.
got. a nice weight. It is very fancy, but that other one isn't solid glass, and it kind of just looks dumb when it isn't.
Hmm. So I'm gonna probably hit the last topic now, because I do have a uh meeting to attend to. Not really. I have plans though. So what was it? The technical difficulties threw me off my game. My game's all
Yeah,
thrown off.
yeah.
I had all these things set up in my brain, and it all went away. It all went away when Discord decided to shit the bed. Um. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so me and Zach talked about. We picked this up on this. We touched on it. We as most of the people who would listen to this know, because they're only people that know us. Oh, you're really behind that, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's the size of your head. We just started college, and you are going to the same 2 year that Zach is going to currently.
Yeah, yeah, it's
How's your college experience been?
my last semester, the 2 year, and I've got so my schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I have Tuesdays and Thursdays off, and that is how I like it. It's so much better than high school to have days off.
Yeah,
Now I mean
lucky
like
you. Flexing on me.
scheduling and everything. Um, you know, it's pretty nice. Probably got some
Ooh.
homework to turn in, but probably what is it, Sunday? Yeah, yeah. It's like online homework.
Oh, do you have any online classes?
So I've got a hybrid Spanish class, and then I've got online psychology. So I got to figure those out. And I don't know, I'm taking philosophy, and I know you
Oh
like
yeah, it's a
philosophy.
fun class. It's a fun class.
What is the meaning of life?
You may, dude. The whole
What
time
is
you
the
feel like you're
what's,
everyone there is like, ho ho, the whole time. It's great. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. Like,
Let me pour you a glass of my finest brandy, and
yes,
let us discuss the
let us
meaning of life.
ponder. But yeah,
Yes, this entire class is about pondering.
it is. It's a class about thinking. My professor told me, he said, this is a class to teach you how to think. That's what he said. Cause they grade, like, you have to write like philosophy. I had to write like philosophy papers, and you
Oh,
can't
hopefully
write.
I
You have to
know.
write them in a specific way, and if you don't, you get pointed off real bad for it. But it's like it's weird. But I enjoyed philosophy.
You must ask the question, why? Like the great philosopher Socrates, you must ask
Socrates,
why.
not Socrates. Yeah, they talk about how broad questions are the best, apparently, or something like that, because they have
Yeah,
include the most connections, is what they call it,
I
points
have
of
to.
views.
I think I only have to read one book for the class, luckily, and
You
it's
have to
the
read a book. Rip.
yeah, it's for it's like the trial and death of Socrates by Plato.
Socrates.
See,
Stop saying them wrong. You're irking me. I know you're doing it on purpose. It's Socrates and Plato, and I want to read that because I heard it's good. So
yeah,
tell me if it's good after
so
you read it.
I'll probably have to buy it and read it, but I don't know, something like the unexamined life is not worth living, he said
Well, I mean,
at
you're
the end of.
living an examined life.
Yes, I observe my own life. I am self-aware.
Yes, I am self-aware. Stirs the glass. Are we free? Truly free?
Yeah, what is I had to watch a few videos on like, introductions to what it is, like the history of it.
Hmm.
And like, dude, existentialism seems pretty bleak.
Dude, it is. That's why it's called existentialism.
Th- Thinking life is only suffering and you just nothing. I'm like
I have not
I'm
taken a
sitting here.
class ever where after I took it, the only thing I thought about was what we talked about. I've never had that until that moment, and I was like, "This." It's one of those things. If you have a good professor, because I don't know, since you
Yeah.
says yours is hybrid, I don't know how that works.
It's I don't know if it's hybrid. because I mean I still have to I have to watch videos and
Do you go
stuff,
somewhere? Do you
and
have a professor?
yeah, I go somewhere, and the professor, he's a pretty eccentric guy.
Most of them are.
He wears Hawaiian shirts, and he's kind of an old guy with gray hair, but he's got the Hawaiian shirts, probably some khaki shorts. He
Yeah.
looks like a guy on vacation.
My philosophy professor was a very eccentric guy. He had the crazy gray hair, but he had nothing on the top like that, and he was always wearing like these polos, but he'd be pitting because he runs around the room when he talks. Like he'll walk back and forth. He'll go, Am I are you picking up what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm speaking?" And he'll like do this hand motion and say something really funny. "Do you understand what I'm speaking?" He'd say
At
that. It's
least
the
he's
funniest thing in the world. And he was so
at least,
passionate, but it made the
at least
class
he's
so
not
fun.
Diogenes.
Yeah, he's not. He's running around
He just
naked.
has like no clothes. No, he's just wearing a
he's
barrel
he's not a
and he's
cynic,
saying,
dude.
what's like the parts of philosophy, the aesthetic, the ethic, the
Ethics, aesthetics, metaphysics. I can't remember the rest. I only remember the people because the people are the best part of philosophy. And listen to all the weirdos in history.
yeah,
Freaking
all I can
weirdos.
think about is I'm glad my life has meaning.
Dude, the best part is when you get into the Renaissance or the medieval period, and uh it's full of like weird stuff, like like thinking like if you eat certain things, it'll help you. It gets weird. It gets really weird.
Oh, I figured out today. Well, not today. I figured out that I have very strong principles that I live by. I will I will not eat cereal ever again in my life.
Why?
Uh, why? It's a very complicated matter,
You
and
don't
it's
like? Is it just you don't like cereal? Does it get too
uh
soggy
well
too quick?
well it was like okay, so it was like what was it? The Special K guy, Kellogg. He actually
Oh,
invented cereal for abstinence or something like that.
yeah. For not, he wanted. This guy made cornflakes, right?
Yeah,
He
yeah,
he
yeah.
wanted to make it so you didn't masturbate. So he thought eating cornflakes will make you have a low sex drive if you have bad food, like bland
It's
food.
well, it is kind of true in a sense. Like he's designed it to be like that. So I'm
I don't think
not
that's
gonna.
true.
I mean,
I
in
think it was proven
cereal,
wrong.
cereal's kind of just like sugar, you know.
Yeah, it's
So
just not good for you unless you get like literally get cornflakes because that's
so
literally
it's
they
kind
haven't
of
changed it.
that's a strong principle. I think that's an ethic I live by. I will not eat cereal.
I will not eat cereal. It makes my sex drive weak. I, I think
It's not just I just don't want to be a soy boy, you know.
don't want to be a soy
Well,
boy, dude. I'm a
with the
man.
mustache.
I'm an alpha.
Hope I'm not a soy boy, guys.
Do you take Alex Jones's supplements?
No.
They
Why
just
would I
make you
do that
red.
when I have essential oils, man?
Yeah. Do you chug essential oils to get gains before you go to the gym
Chug
and pump iron? You know what I'm saying? Get these
bunch of
gains.
pine oil, a bunch of cedar oil, just tipping back,
That's
drinking
so
this.
nasty.
That would be, I
That'd be
mean,
the grossest ever. You're drinking liquid tree.
liquid tree.
It's so gross. You're not supposed to eat trees, dude. Don't eat a tree.
Chugging maple syrup. I throw a whole maple syrup back like that.
Oh, that's so gross. That's so nasty. So anything else you've experienced at college that you think is interesting,
Well,
cool? Any cool stories? Nothing?
I was gonna say I'm taking 17 credit hours this semester, so
And you still don't have classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
I didn't, well, it's just 5 classes, so that's pretty good. It's pretty good.
17? 3, 6.
Like my Spanish class is like 5 credit hours,
Dang, yeah, Jesus.
and my art is probably 3 or more, because art is like it goes from like 10:30 to 11:45, or longer than that. Yeah, art is like a whole long class. You're going to be drawing a lot in that class, but um, so I think that gets me my credit hours, and then the online class probably helps out with not having Tuesday, Thursday. But
Hmm.
17 was the only way to go. If I want to graduate this semester, 17 was the only way. And I took 15 last
I'm
last
just
time.
thinking about the stress that would give me because I'm taking less than I did last semester, and I'm still stressed. Like I just started, and I'm stressed. Like this semester,
I yeah,
I'm, I'm like, ah.
I'm still kind of nervous about it. I'm still kind of hoping I can balance everything out very well. I think Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to be very useful, and the weekend is going to be very useful.
A
Hopefully
lot
I
of
don't
free
have a
time to
lot of
get work done.
yeah. And that's I think I did that for my first semester, which was only like 12 credits, I think, and it was pretty good.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna have a good time with that. But yeah,
Well, uh, we're getting to the time limit. Most of it's
the time
probably
limit,
my artificial time limit.
your artificial time, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I actually have a time thing, but I'm trying to keep it under about an hour. But most of that was tech difficulty problems. But any last things you want to say to the 5 people who watch this?
Um,
Anything you want to promote, plug?
Gotta say, if you want to start learning music, I highly suggest the recorder.
I think everyone's already started that.
I
I don't
actually, well,
remind when.
I went back to my old recorder music from elementary school, and I was actually able to sight read it, so that was pretty fun. Um, it was very simple.
It's like returning to like a beginner level
Piano's
in a game
piano's a good part to
at
start.
level 50. Sweet.
Um, Gotta say, don't abuse alcohol. That would be very bad. Don't
Yes.
do that.
Don't do drugs
Everything,
either.
everything in modesty, you know. And then probably wear your seatbelt. That's very important.
Yes.
It
Yes.
probably saved my life, honestly, in my car crash that I had. So
I like how we
wear your
didn't touch that
seatbelt.
once. Uh,
We're gonna touch that. Okay, for anyone who hasn't known me
Sum it up
outside of
real
high
quick.
school, I'll summarize it. Okay, so first car, my first car, I got this first generation Prius with like first generation Prius. So no, it wasn't as ugly as the newer ones. It's not a hatchback, but it's still like a
It
sedan.
was
So
nice. It was
anyway,
nice.
it um, only 85,000 miles on it from like 2002. Only 85,000 miles, and I was like turning left somewhere, and someone ran into the right side of the car, bent the axle, like the wheel up and everything, messed up. It, basically totaled it, and that was super sad. And so yeah, that was shook me up. I got in a car accident. I'm all right now. That was way way back. But now I drive a 2007 Acura TL, and I gotta say, Acura, nice cars, nice cars. It's pretty fast too, so I recommend it. I recommend Acura, Toyota, Honda, Lexus. Japanese cars are good cars.
Yeah. I don't think I might not agree because I'm wearing a Ford hat, but that's just because I own it. I don't actually care enough to have an opinion on that. But yeah. Uh, Sweet. That's the moral of the story. Don't die.
Yeah,
Wear your
wear your
seatbelt. Don't do
seatbelt. Don't
drugs.
abuse alcohol.
Don't be an
Yeah,
alcoholic. Life choices or life tips by Trenton. He has never done any of those things, but or I guess he's wore a seatbelt, but
yeah.
he hasn't done any drugs or enough alcohol for it to matter. So take his word with a grain of salt, even though he's speaking some truth. Don't do drugs. It's moral of every story: don't do drugs, kids. It's like we're in the 70s again. Don't do drugs. But yeah,
So yeah, yeah.
I
I
will, and I
look forward to the next podcast you do in the
yeah.
future. Thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed this time to hang out.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty cool. I got to learn, but I've never actually asked you about your name origin, so it was good to learn that. But yeah, sweet. Um, well, adios. Wait, wave, adios. I have to click
Yeah, I can
raw.
say adios now because I'm taking a Spanish class and I understand.
Adios.